All right, today we are cracking open a Nobel Prize-winning idea that pulls back the curtain on a hidden battle for control happening inside your own mind. Get ready to question, well, pretty much everything you think you know about your own decisions.
So let me ask you something. Do you think you're a rational person who makes logical choices? Well, the research we're about to dive into suggests that most of the time, you're not really the one in the driver's seat.
You see, Daniel Kahneman paints this amazing picture of our mind as a drama with two main characters. First up, you've got System 1. This is your impulsive hero. It's fast, it's intuitive, it's your gut reaction. It's the part of you that knows what 2 plus 2 is without thinking or recognizes your friend's face in a crowd. And then there's System 2. This is the lazy sidekick. It's slow, it's deliberate, it takes real effort. This is who you call on for a tough math problem. And here's the kicker. System 1, that impulsive hero, is running the show almost all the time, while the careful, analytical System 2 is just kind of lounging around.
Okay, but here's the catch. Our fast-thinking hero, System 1, has a critical weakness, a fatal flaw. It absolutely loves to jump to conclusions, and this can lead to some seriously big mistakes.
Want to see this flaw in action? Let's do a famous little experiment. Meet Linda. Just take a second and read her description. You can feel it happening, right? Your System 1 is already spinning up a whole story about who this person is, just based on a few details. All right, so what's your gut say? Which one feels more likely? If you're like pretty much everyone else, and I'm talking even statistics grad students, you probably picked B. It just feels right, doesn't it? It fits the story your System 1 just created. And that's the trap. Logically, A has to be more probable. I mean, think about it. The group bank tellers includes all the feminist bank tellers, plus all the other ones. So why does B feel so right? It's because our brains love a good story more than they love good statistics. Your System 1 got totally charmed by a plausible story, and your lazy System 2 just didn't step in to do the simple logic check. This is called the conjunction fallacy, and it's a perfect, kind of scary example of how a good story can beat cold, hard facts.
And this idea leads us to another huge mental trap we all fall into. Our minds are absolutely wired to create these confident stories, even when we're working with, like, scraps of information. Kahneman has this awesome, kind of clunky name for it, YSIAT. It stands for What You See Is All There Is. It basically means our mind is a brilliant storyteller with the information it has. The problem is it completely ignores the information it doesn't have. It doesn't even think to ask. So we end up with this super confident story based on a tiny, incomplete picture.
Here, let's try another one real quick. Read this description of Alan. Because those positive words came first, intelligent, industrious, your System 1 has already decided he's a pretty good guy. So when you get to stubborn, you probably think, oh, that just means he has strong convictions, right?
Now, what about Ben? Take a look. It is the exact same list of traits, just flipped. But I bet you feel totally different about him, don't you? Now, stubborn and critical sound pretty bad. That is the halo effect, and it's a perfect example of YCATI in action. That first negative impression became a halo that colored everything else you read. What you saw first became the whole story.
Okay, so let's talk about how this stuff hits us where it really hurts, our wallets.
We all like to think we're smart and rational with our money, but Kahneman's research proved we're driven by something way more primal, the emotional sting of a loss versus the thrill of a gain.
This chart really says it all. This is the core of what's called prospect theory, and the big idea is actually super simple. Losing hurts way more than winning feels good. In fact, it hurts about twice as much. Losing $100 feels twice as bad as finding $100 feels good. This powerful bias is called loss aversion, and it's why we're so often afraid to take smart risks with our money.
So it sounds like our brains are kind of broken, right? Well, not exactly. The good news is we can fight back. We can learn how to consciously wake up that lazy sidekick, our System 2, and get it to double-check our gut so we can make smarter choices. So how do we actually do that? Well, here is a simple but incredibly powerful tool you can use, the 3-question pause. Before you make any important decision, you just stop, you pause, and you ask yourself these 3 questions. Number 1, what information am I seeing? This just makes you aware of what's driving that gut feeling. Number 2, what critical information am I not seeing? This one is huge. This is your secret weapon against YSEIT. It forces you to look for your blind spots. And finally, number 3, could a different frame change my decision? This is how you fight back against things like loss aversion. Ask yourself, if I thought about this as a gain instead of a potential loss, would I feel different? It's a simple little checklist to wake up your system to when it really counts. See, this isn't just some fun psychology trivia. This is a real tool you can use to give yourself an edge in your own life, like today. So what it all comes down to is this constant tug of war for control that's happening inside our heads. And look, the goal isn't to get rid of your fast, intuitive hero. That gut feeling is amazing sometimes. True wisdom is knowing its flaws, and more importantly, knowing when to say, hang on a second, let me bring in my slow, careful analyst for a second opinion.
So the next time you face a big choice, just remember the two characters in your head. Your next career move, your next investment, that next difficult conversation you need to have, they could all be made better with one simple action: taking a moment to think slower. Your next smart decision is just one pause away. So, what will you use it for?